Hello and welcome back to my Advent series. I can't believe that it's the final week and that in just a couple of days it is going to be Christmas. I also can't believe that I stuck this out for 4 weeks. Yay, go me! So week 1 was all about hope, and I drew an illustration of Mary on the Greyhound bus just contemplating her life. Second week was all about peace, looking at the shepherds who I turned into sanitation workers. Third week was all about joy and the angelic gospel choir. And this week is the heart of the whole story, the ultimate theme that connects everything, and that is love. As the Bible Project Guide to Advent says, Advent encourages us toward hopeful waiting, courageous peacemaking, resilient joy, and self-giving love in our still suffering world. And if we're going to talk about love, then this week it's Christmas. We have to talk about Jesus. We often talk about love as a feeling, a romantic spark, or maybe an abstract concept. But the Nativity story presents love as something quite tangible. Think about the sheer mind-bending vulnerability of God's love. And vulnerability isn't something that people often pair with God's love. But truly, God, the creator of the universe, who spoke stars into existence and commands legions of angels, chose to become the one thing most dependent on others, a newborn human baby. A baby can't feed himself, can't protect himself, can't even hold up their own head. This act, God emptying himself of power and submitting to the utter fragility of infancy, is the most profound statement of love ever made. Love, at its core, is the willingness to be vulnerable for the sake of another. The Christmas story is the definitive act of divine vulnerability. And then we have the family that God chose to be born into. Like I said in week 1, Mary and Joseph were young. Mary was likely a teenager, Joseph in his early 20s. They were poor, displaced. They hadn't established themselves in the world, and they were likely operating under a cloud of social suspicion. Joseph had every societal and legal reason to quietly divorce/not marry Mary. The baby wasn't his, and his reputation was on the line. Yet, guided by an angelic dream, he chose to stay. He offered his presence and his protection. He stood in the gap for his young wife and his adopted son. This is a quiet, steadfast love that shows up and chooses commitment over convenience. Mary had to endure the stress of a long journey while 9 months pregnant, and then the painful, undignified delivery in a stable. She chose radical obedience to God's call, not knowing the full cost. Her love was an enduring, sacrificial yes to a calling that cost her comfort and reputation. Having a child isn't just carry it for 9 months and then give birth and then it's all over. They were committed to raising this child. Their love was expressed in their everyday, often exhausting acts of raising a child, and believe me, I know. This young family shows us that real love isn't a grand one-time gesture. It's a million small sacrificial choices made every day. Love is not just limited to a feeling or emotions. It's not only the love of a romantic partnership or platonic relationships. True love is unconditional and self-sacrificing. It's the kind of love that says, I choose your good, regardless of whether you deserve it or can pay me back. This kind of love is practical. It wasn't just a powerful emotion, it resulted in a practical life. A baby in a manger, a carpenter's son, a man who would eventually heal, teach, and ultimately die for others, to of course be raised back to life. Thank you again for joining me on this Advent journey through hope, peace, joy, and love. If you did enjoy this series, please give this video a like and subscribe. In the comments below, what is one small self-giving act of love you can commit to before or after Christmas Day? Because I think Christmas is tomorrow. Merry Christmas, everyone. May you experience the radical love of God this season. And thanks again. Goodbye.